All right, welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know, my name's Jared. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about finances and what's going on in the world. And hopefully, you find some of this video entertaining and knowledgeable and gain something from it. If you do, smash the like button, subscribe, helps out a lot. And let's get into it. In this video today, we're going to talk about what's kind of going on. I believe there was a pretty strong correction in the market today. We're going to get into a few of the stocks that I've been rating as a buy recently, and we're going to kind of go over the chart, how much they're up, how much they're down, kind of what I see is what's going on, and we'll go from there. Obviously, we got the war still going, the strait that's shut down. You got and everybody freaking out about oil prices and the energy sector, and countries are starting to ask people to shut off their hot water tanks and keep the lights out and trying to save on some energy. Um, I just want to start by saying that I don't necessarily always agree with everything that's going on. Now, for a country that is oppressive and things like that, I don't mind other people stepping in to a certain extent. I just hope that everything gets resolved soon and they open that straight up. One thing I want to hit on the straight, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we start talking about ConocoPhillips there at the very end of the stocks, is that even if they opened the strait today and allowed boats to pass through, I just was reading a report that there's over 150 ships that are just backlogged waiting to go through the strait. It's narrow. It's not going to just happen instantly. Oil is not going to be turned into gasoline the same day. It's still got to get shipped. The boats have to go through one, two, three at a time, however many that can go through the strait at any given time. They still have to get to the refineries and then it gets processed and then it gets shipped to wherever it's going and so on and so forth. So just keep in mind that when these kind of crises and things happen, especially when it happens to the transportation, it does not resolve overnight. It is not instantaneous. The market may fluctuate quicker than what actually um, is happening due to anticipating what is going to happen. But we got to keep that in mind when we're looking at some of these companies and when you're doing your own research on corporations. So if you want to start looking into refinement and looking into these oil explorers and the miners and the refineries and so on and so forth, you got to make sure you're looking at the whole picture. So with that being said, we're going to move right into it. This is Super Microcomputer, SMCI. I called it out as a buy, sadly, when it was in the 40s, and now we're down under, we just hit under 20 3 days ago, and we're back up to 22, 21. We were over 23 yesterday. That was great things. I thought we were kind of having a little bit of a bounce back, but the shareholders are now suing. They have a lawsuit against SMCI for failure to disclose risk associated with export controls on sales to China. Now, just remember, and I said this in my previous video, if you didn't watch it, please go back and watch it. I think there's a lot of useful information in it. Is that it was the co founder and two others linked in the company that was actually smuggling the servers containing NVIDIA chips and all that over to China. With that being said, we still do not know all of SMCI's involvement. I never really quite understood it myself. You're invested into a company, you're a part owner of that company. They do things you don't like. First thing people do is sue them. It's kind of crazy. I'm invested in a couple, Rich Tech Robotics. They had a pump and dump. They said that they were partnering with a huge corporation, and that corporation came out and disclosed that it is just a standard partnership. It is not as close as what RR was actually saying. Thus, they skyrocketed $3 and then they went right back down, and everybody's calling it a pump and dump. And now everybody's suing them. And it's just kind of amazing to me. that, they said they were partnering and they said working in more close collaboration. And just because you assumed it and you bought at that high, I'm sorry, that sucks. Do your own research and make sure you fully vet it and check it out before you buy some of these stocks, especially these penny stocks. I say penny, they're a few dollars. I think they're bouncing back around $3 a share right now. With that being said, is we don't know how much SMCI's actual involvement into this is. Granted, yes, their stock price is inflated because of it, as if they were counting the sales on their books, and they definitely have some hoops to jump through. We're going to go over the price, the actual stock price, and the chart real quick. You can see that massive jump down. I was buying all through here in the 30s. I started buying back here in the 40s when it was dipping, and I thought we were going to kind of bounce back, and we just kept on going down. So once we broke down below this resistance at the 31.50 mark, I started buying even more. And then this happened, which was terrible news, huge momentum, massive sell off. We started having a little bit of a rise because the price was just starting to look too good to be true. And now they're actually having a lawsuit against them in general, which definitely is kind of a bummer when it comes to anybody who owns SMCI shares, partial owners. And would I continue buying them at these prices? I do believe that I am going to continue DCing in. It's going to be small amounts. We're talking about $100 here and there a week or so, buying a few shares just to kind of continue moving my DCA down as we're getting more news fully on SMCI's involvement. Hopefully, they kind of round it off and they can stop the lawsuits in their tracks and prove their innocence towards it and fully throw it onto the people who were directly doing it instead of bringing the whole company down with them. That's just my thoughts. I think they're going to end up powering through. The share price may still have some room down to go. That's definitely a possibility, especially down to this 1776. And if we're already looking at they're at the lowest price since November 15th of 2024 in that range, and before that we haven't seen this pricing since 2023 in June. In reality, they are a necessary company to have, especially when it comes to this AI and this chip involvement. They're needed. It's massive market for them. I think they can pull through as long as they get some good leadership to replace those who have um, faltered. And there may even be a company buying opportunity for another company to be able to kind of pick up the pieces. So I still have a little bit of excitement left in SMCI. Once again, I'm going to slowly DCA in. I'm going to cut way back on the shares and the buying. I know the pricing is looking too good to be true, but in reality, it could be if it's found that they knew about it and they start getting hit left and right, well, with fees and fines and penalties and all that kind of stuff. Who knows how low this could actually go? I don't see it going much below that 1776 just because I think retail investors are going to prop this thing up and continue buying. All right, we're going to move on before I just spend the whole video talking about SMCI. We're going to move into Amazon. There's some good news about Amazon and some bad news about Amazon, which I don't have all the information on it because it just happened a couple hours ago. It says Amazon AI chip product leader departs. Apparently, Gadi Hutt departed Amazon. I don't know as to why yet or not, but then they also had some good news is they are getting added to a couple of these bigger hedge funds which is fantastic because that's going to be locking in a lot of shares that they're going to be purchasing. Meta, Amazon, Uber, Alphabet. That's that's going to be great. Ended the fourth quarter in the hedge fund valued at $511.4 million. It's the third largest holding in Pershing Square's portfolio, which is awesome. And they also had some other good news that American Airlines in talks with SpaceX, Starlink, and Amazon to revamp in-flight internet and entertainment, which I think is going to be a good thing. It's just more things that Amazon can be involved in. They're all over the place. They are everywhere, every which way you turn. There's something going on with Amazon. I believe Amazon is going to be a strong buy for a while. Obviously, you can see I'm down quite a bit in my Amazon purchases. I was purchasing back here, and I do plan on purchasing more. I have some call options out on Amazon right now, and that's kind of the reason why. Call options are risky. You always got to take your own risk analysis and make sure you're staying within your own guidelines and your own financial journey. But I do believe Amazon is a buy. We're going to take a look at a chart here. And we are still above the major bar of resistance here. And we had some good signs. We were kind of cruising up, and then obviously with that news, I'm not sure how tomorrow's going to go. I would anticipate they're going to be down a few dollars. We'll just see if there's more news, more good news that comes out, or it could easily turn with the flip of a switch of Iran wanting to talk about and negotiate a peace agreement or ceasefire, opening up the strait. Something like that could spark a whole upside for the market tomorrow that we can't really account for. But as of now, I would assume that they're still going to be down a little bit more tomorrow. We're probably going to get back down to this resistance at that 205.75, which will be great. I still plan on picking up more Amazon as we move forward. All right. So now we're going to talk about AMD. AMD, I think, has such a big future ahead of it. I think it has so much more growth potential. I don't really necessarily understand why their price is getting suppressed as much as it is. I do know that Lisa Su had a kind of not really great future outlook when they reported last earnings, which, it is what it is. I believe they're going to outperform what she anticipated or what she said was going to be anticipated. But I do know as of yesterday, which there's no news on AMD today as to why it was down so significantly, but um, Trump did name people for an AI advisory council, and one of the names was Lisa Su from AMD. They did not comment, so maybe there's a comment going to be happening. That would be kind of cool to see. But we're going to take a look at the chart. AMD, I think, is going to be a buy for a while. I've been picking up shares. As you can see, I am down slightly in AMD on my actual shares. I do have some call options. Those were up quite a bit yesterday and down quite a bit today. Uh, Fluctuation in the market, you just gotta grin and bear it, right? All right, taking a look at chart, you can see that huge gap up yesterday. We hit over 220 and then we kind of closed. Then in the morning, it looked like we were going to be down and we just kept dragging all the way back down. We are back below our 150-day moving average and we bounced off of our 9. If we come back down to this 182.53, if you're not buying shares, what are you doing? You just got to figure out what you want to invest in. And I think AMD needs to be right up there with everybody else. Once again, I'm not a financial advisor, not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And AMD is something I am buying. All right, going into Meta. There is OpenAI US ads. So in 6 weeks, this is going to bring up a funny outlook for you. It's the way I think, and I don't know if other people are already talking about it. It just is crazy to me. So, throughout my lifetime, we went from Blockbuster, Family Video, all these video stores, right? You wanted to have a movie night, you went and got a pizza, you went and picked out two DVDs, you all gathered around VHS, even, uh, if you want to go a little bit even older than that, but DVDs mostly. And you all gather around the TV, you eat dinner, you watch your movies, and you have a family night, right? You gotta go take movies back in the morning, all that. So then you had Netflix come around. Netflix was kind of the killer to some of that, in which you could have the DVDs delivered right to your mailbox. So every week you could pick out two DVDs. They come and bring it on like a Sunday, and you had to put it back in your mailbox come Wednesday. They pick them up, take them back. You get your two new DVDs, and it was a subscription based model like that, right? I'm guessing some of you guys out there remember this. And then you had Redbox, where as you're walking out of Walmart, you could stop and pick up a couple DVDs. You could drop back at any Redbox, so convenient, right? Well, then we got into streaming. So you could just watch movies on Netflix, right? And that's where we're at today. But what I feel is the funny part is all these streaming platforms. You got Hulu, Netflix, Disney, Amazon Prime, anyone that you want to pick. It all started, $7.99 a month. Cool. Then it goes 8.99, 9.99, 10.99. You can't share it with family. You can't share it with friends. Only one TV per account. All this kind of stuff. They minimize it so they can capitalize on profit. I don't disagree with that at all. So now all of a sudden you're paying $12.99. Well, guess what? They aren't going to keep raising prices because now you have more options. But they're going to slip in ads. So now it used to be unlimited. I did also forget about adding in the DVR and Joey and the Hopper, so that way you could skip videos or commercials. You could actually physically fast forward through the recorded TV shows and skip all the commercials, which, that's always fun, right? But now you have to pay for a higher subscription to be able to have what you just had a year ago for a cheaper price with no ads because now they're getting the ad revenue. Well, OpenAI is doing exactly, it's following the same exact course. It started as free, it gets you hooked on it, and now all of a sudden you got ads. I mean, what do we think is going to happen? It's going to become subscription based. I believe Grok and some of them already have subscriptions. You got to pay for more if you want a better version, so on and so forth. Well, even those subscriptions are going to end up having ads. Why? Because it's money, it's profitable. That's what they want. And that's exactly the way that I see it going. That was a whole rant about just one little thing because what OpenAI did. Meta has other things going for it as well that I wanted to get into, but I just wanted to bring that up. I thought it was funny if you actually look at it from that perspective. It's kind of a crazy world out there, right? So it don't matter how much you give, they're always gonna want more, and they're gonna impede your time and irk you, according to this is where did it say it? Analysts said that the ads could unlock a significant revenue stream for millions of ChatGPT users, but the move could irk some customers and hurt trust in the product. That's exactly what they're going to do. A lot of people don't even like Netflix right now. You can't even watch anything on Paramount without watching a million ads. It's just crazy. All right. The other big thing is the New Mexico versus Meta after a court win about young teenagers. Unlimited scrolling. It's a $375 million penalty, but it's about the precedent, right? Just losing in court, $375 million to Meta is nothing, right? It, However, opens them up to a infinite amount of lawsuits. That's where the problem lies. With that stronger case, that just means that everybody's going to be able to want to sue. They're going to have a wave of litigation ahead of them. They're going to be fighting battles at all fronts. It's not necessarily going to be a pretty thing. And mostly they're talking about the infinite scrolling, tightening on age requirements to be able to access certain platforms, certain things along those lines. And we'll just see if it comes to a head. You can see that I'm down in Meta. I'm pretty heavily contributed into Meta. I believe that they're still going to do great things. They're gonna end up through this, but holy smokes, um, they are going down, man. Just today by themselves, they were down $47.35, almost 8%. Um, which if you've been watching any of my other videos, it's fantastic. It's a great time. If you got money set to the side, you want to invest into a company that's probably going to turn around. I say probably, there's always a chance it doesn't, but I think in the long run, you are going to do well if you invested into Meta. I'm not saying it should, I'm not financial advisor, but I'm investing into Meta. I think there's going to be great things. I see them getting close to $1,000 by the end of the year. With that being said, right now you're talking about even if they go up $300-400 from here, that's huge. That's massive gains. Uh, in which case, I'll start pulling my profits after I'm up probably 40-50%. I'll pull out a little bit just to protect myself and look for the next investment. All right, we're going to move on from Meta. We're going to go into Adobe. Adobe. Well, we all kind of know what was going on. They had some higher up leave, and now they're getting some downgrades. And with that being said, is Adobe still a good company? Nothing's changed. The Adobe in and of itself is a great company. They got massive amount of subscriptions. They are everywhere. They're going to do just fine. Somebody else is going to come in. They're going to gather up. They're going to lead it. They're going to take it to the next level. Now, did that hurt the bottom line on Adobe? Yes, it did hurt the bottom line on Adobe. As you can see, I am currently down almost 20% total in Adobe. But that's fine. We're here for the long run. I'm still DCAing in. I will take that massive drop that happened on March 13th. And we're hovering right around the resistance line that I was hoping we were going to get down to. We actually, at one point today, we're down into the channel that turns into a huge buying opportunity for myself, where I will start doubling up on how much I actually put into Adobe. I see great things from this SaaS apocalypse that they're calling it, and I feel like they're going to bounce back. We're going to have another earnings season come around, and people are just going to realize that it was a way overreaction. They sold off too much, and they're going to regret it. That's my own personal opinion. Nobody can take my opinion from me, and that's the way I'm going to move forward. So I'm going to keep buying Adobe. Um, Now I am spreading it out a little bit into the very next stock that we're going to take a look at, which is Salesforce. There's a reason for that. Salesforce is also up today, around the same. All of the SaaS companies were down yesterday, which was kind of wild to watch. There's a reason why we're looking at Salesforce, though. They just landed a deal with Department of Labor to power AI agent DOLA for the 24/7 worker support. This is going to hopefully enhance some things for them and make things much easier. And also, it's going to use Salesforce. Look at that, Agentforce. Uh, that's going to be great things. I'm excited about it. I think that's going to be great news. We'll see what that does to the market tomorrow. Once again, a lot of things can happen. Who knows what will actually end up happening? but I think it's going to be great things. Within the year, I see Salesforce and Adobe bouncing right back, all the SaaS stocks now, Intuit, all of them. All right. Looking at chart, we're right back down to the resistance. We're getting close to those lows once again. So maybe we are double bottoming and we're actually going to end up seeing a move up, and maybe we're almost to the bottom there, guys. Hopefully we can hold out that little bit longer. Anything under, I would say, right around this resistance, I'm going to keep buying. As long as we're under our 50-day moving average, I'm going to keep buying. I'm just going to keep going after it. I think we're going to be seeing this 263 to 64.70 line by the end of the year, and that's what I'm holding out for. I think we got a lot of great things ahead of us, especially with these SaaS stocks, and I'm excited for it. So I'm going to keep buying, DCAing in every single week. All right, ConocoPhillips. We always talk about diversification, right? So right now everybody's been so tech heavy, and then you have everybody talking about rare earths, gold, metal, silver, copper, all these different rare earths, and all these other things that are going to happen. You want to make sure you're diversified. That does not just mean different sectors; it also means different companies in each sector. Um, if you only pick one company, you might end up picking the one loser, and then the whole sector goes off and you miss it. So, when we're talking about that, you also want to be in energy. And when I talk about energy, I'm also talking oil. I liked ConocoPhillips. I called them out a while ago. You can see that I picked up some shares here, 10, only 10 shares, but at 99.74 a share. And we are currently up 33.6%. I keep moving up my stop loss. My stop loss, I believe, right now is at 126.72, something along those lines. So that way, if we ever come back down to 172, 60, whatever I just said, it's pretty close to in there. I might be a couple cents off one way or the other. It sells before it comes plummeting back down. That's exactly what I'm going to keep doing with ConocoPhillips. I already have gains with it. I'm happy. I can't ask for better. It's one of the only positives that I had today during this correction. And in reality, I will continue moving up my stop loss as they keep growing. I don't want to just instantly sell. If I wanted to do that, I'd take all the gains that I have. I would rather hold on and see what all's going on and use ConocoPhillips kind of hedging what's currently going on with the straight and go from there. Their ratings are getting adjusted up, and it's great to see. A lot of people are looking at the oil companies right now, and we are above that 113.80 that I called out a while ago, and we kind of bounced off of it. They thought we had a shooting star, and we just kept on breaking on through. We got the momentum up. We still have momentum up. We had one negative momentum day, which is fine. We're still moving on up. Everything's up with the stock right now. That does not mean just go out and buy it. You can wait for a correction. You can wait for it to come back down. A second chance, second opportunity to buy. Back here was a great second opportunity to buy after we missed out on. If you missed out on that, and then that would have been the second opportunity. So we'll see what is ahead of us. I believe ConocoPhillips is going to be one of the major contenders for what was going on with the Venezuelan oil, which is what brought me into ConocoPhillips. And then everything with the trade just kind of caused it to go back up because the barrel, the $100 a barrel, right? We're all seeing the gas prices just skyrocket. It's terrible. It's awful. I hate it for us. The cost of living is just going to keep going up for everybody. It's just kind of crazy. But this is why we invest into assets. Inflation goes up. Assets, companies charge more. Their profit goes up. Their market share goes up. What you own went up. That's why buying and holding stocks for the long run is so important to everybody's portfolio, whether it's mutual funds, ETFs, whatever it is, individual stocks. It's so important to invest into something that actually can grow on its own. Real estate is also great. Rare metals, good. I wouldn't say great. I don't have any myself. I haven't been able to bring myself to buy them, but they do fight inflation, and that's the goal. But you keep a dollar, you always have a dollar. You buy a dollar of ConocoPhillips and it goes up 3%, you got $1.03. That's just the way math in the world works. So make sure you're investing smart. Research your own companies before you actually buy them. Make sure that you're actually know what you're investing in and that you're doing your research. It's so important. If you got anything out of this video, if you like the video, smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.